got everything I need here. Okay, Scotty, go ahead and pop that up. You're listening to Whisp Turlington, Through the Years, Through the Tears, a Hunter House audiobook. To my family, you were wrong. Introduction. Hell is a hell of a place. I know. I've worked there for over 40 years. Who am I? I'm Whisp Turlington. Who are you? If you don't have the thought inside you of who you are, you don't have the strength to finish this book. Return it to your place of original purchase and get 5% back. I don't need it. In this book, you're going to hear a lot of things that shock you. I am not holding back this time. I held back the first time I tried this shit with my 1973 autobiography, Whisp This. Robert Plant told me not to share too much, and I fucking listened to him. Golden gods can be wrong. Oh, so wrong. You're gonna hear a lot of things that frighten you, but tough shit. I'm not changing a word. I wrote this during a pandemic when I didn't have anything better to do, and now that I can move around a little bit more, there's no going back. I truthfully have no idea what I wrote in this book. Robert Plant told me recently that one should have a good idea of what's in their book, and I said, "Kick rocks, Plant. You're not gonna fuck me this time." Jimmy Page was standing nearby, and it made him laugh, and that made me feel good. Some friends are gonna hate this book. Some are gonna curse my name right before they walk out on stage at some fucking backwoods casino on a Tuesday night. I get it. Hearing how great shit turned out for me could be hard to hear. I'm also not going to start this book with some fucking Wisp was born in Valverde blah 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 bullshit. You know I was born. I wouldn't fucking be here if I wasn't born. You want the good stuff. You want me to get right to the coke stories. You want me to immediately tell you how David Bowie and I pranked Ian Hunter and Queen's John Deacon at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert, an actual crime that has never been admitted to until today. That's the shit you want. That's the shit you get. So sit back and relax as we travel through the years and through the tears. Chapter 1. Huey Lewis. Call me Ishmael. Great. Call me Wisp. Now that that's out of the way, I'm gonna need someone to show me how to fucking get backstage. We can't keep Huey Lewis in the news waiting. Huey Lewis was not a man to fuck around with. It was 1983 and Huey had already replaced every member of the news 3 times. Also, a little record called Sports came out and singularly changed the music game. I was led to Huey's door, and before I could lift my hand and knock, the Madison Square Garden backstage door blew open, and I was being held aloft by a giggling and frighteningly strong Huey Lewis.
"Look what I found!"
Huey bellowed.
"Hey, man, put him down." "Yeah, you gotta put him down." "Hey, put him down,"
shouted 2 or maybe 3 sensible yet expendable members of the news. I was so high in the air I just couldn't tell. Huey lobbed my flailing body into a backstage wall, my limp form collapsing onto a couch.
"Oh no, Turlington, you're not getting away that fast."
Suddenly, I'm flying through the air again as Huey Lewis cheered and ran circles around the news.
"We're going on a night on the town,"
growled Huey. Silence. The news turned to him. It was time to fucking say something.
Huey, we haven't even gone on stage yet. MSG is waiting,"
said Brent Spineley, or whatever his name was. I never really got around to meet the band.
"Tough shit,"
said Huey Lewis, and he blew a raspberry. Followed oddly by Lewis mimicking sticking his thumb up his own ass over and over. The news just stared. Now here's a fun note. The news actually played that show that night with auxiliary percussionist Shep Grinders pretending to be Huey Lewis. It was their worst show, completely panned in the Times, and the news were quickly replaced the following month. Shep Grinders' body was never found. Anyway, where the fuck was I? All right. Thank you, Scotty. Now, I've sped down 34th Street in New York City many, many, many times. Once in Paul Simon's cool Corvette, you know, the one with the cover of Graceland on the hood. Another time, I stole Rick Derringer's bus. I did it once inside of a Mr. Suffy ice cream truck while hiding from Rick Derringer's band after I just crashed their bus on 43rd Street. I've gone down these streets so many different ways, but never by forced piggyback by Huey fucking Lewis. This was a first. And by God, he was footing it. It usually takes me a minute per block in New York City. Huey Lewis was bounding from block to block in under 20 seconds each. He's taller than me, so maybe that's the science there. Who knows? Snow was coming down all around us, as New York was under a winter storm warning that night, and I spoke a bit about that as I wrapped that night's show. Goddamn, that was a good show. I made Fleetwood Mac cry earlier that afternoon, and they said they'd never be back. Yeah, right. 1997 comes around and fucking Lindsey Buckingham's calling me all, "Can you please promote the dance? We really need the help." So, do I do it? Yes. Do I tell Buckingham that he now owes me a favor that I can call on at any given time? You fucking know it. If I needed a sniper in Prague at a moment's notice, Lindsey would have to be my trigger man. Deals are deals. And the dance was a hit. What? Yeah. Oh, Huey Lewis. Thank you, Scotty. Huey Lewis threw me like I was a fucking sock monkey into a fresh snowdrift on 72nd Street. As I pulled myself out, Huey whispered in my face, "Let's steal a car." Huey, no, I can't. We have a big one tomorrow on the Whisp Turlington show. Nick Nolte's coming in. We're going to have a taste test. Of what? Nick Nolte's sweet and flavored milks. You remember those? Nolte's sugar milks were only around from 83 to 1993, and by God, I miss them every day. Sure, people got sick. Whatever. People get sick all the fucking time. Whisp Turlington didn't get sick. Put that one in your EPA report. You really drink that shit? Huey was flabbergasted, but I didn't care. Wisp knows what he wants. Huey, you play a weird fucking boogie-woogie frat house scandal rock and roll for fucking corporate dads who live in goddamn Morristown, New Jersey. Fucking dads who have families and other secret families in Arizona they keep telling they'll be with one day. And you're fucking judging me? Boom. Crash. All of it. All I could see was Huey Lewis's lifeless body flying toward Central Park. He had been hit by a moving truck that was, get this, being driven by Randy California from the band Spirit. You remember Spirit? Oh man, what a band. Zeppelin did them dirty. They did. Robert, Jimmy, John Paul, you fuckers should pay up. You really should. Anyway, Randy California and I locked eyes right before he sped the fuck up out of there. I get it. You hit something with your car, you go. Always. Just go. I've done it plenty of times, and you are never caught. I slide through the snow over to Huey's body, quickly crossing Central Park Avenue, jumping over honking taxis. But I was too late. Huey was gone. I couldn't believe it. Right when he was finally baby kissing the stars. That was that. I gathered myself as an ambulance pulled up. We'll take it from here. I watched them wheel 80s legend Huey Lewis's corpse to the ambulance in complete and total shock. The driver opened the van, and as they secured the body, I watched another Huey Lewis in the exact same fucking clothing step out of the back. So many questions ran through my mind in that moment. Who is this? Where is Huey? Does Randy California have a place around here? How can he afford that? This new Huey Lewis stared at his hands for a moment, as if it was the first time he had ever seen them. The ambulance sped down 72nd Street as Huey lifted one of his hands up to the streetlight for closer examination. It let out a robotic shriek so blood-startling that... What? Scotty, that's a word. Startling. Startling. You know what? Just let me do my fucking thing, Scotty. Thank you. Startling. Startling. Yeah, that's real. Startling. Yeah, don't tell me that's not real. I'm fucking Whisp Turlington. Startling. Okay, picking up. It let out a robotic shriek so blood-startling that I fell backwards onto the Central Park sidewalk. Ah, my ass, I whimpered. Well, fuck. I shouldn't have said that. Now this Huey knew I was there. It mechanically tilted its head to the side, slowly moving up and down as if it was scanning my body. For what? Only robot Huey Lewis fucking knew. After about 15 minutes of scanning, Cyborg Huey Lewis took off his suit jacket and threw it over his right shoulder. My God, the cover of Sports. He's doing the fucking cover of Sports. He gave me a wink and then blasted upwards into the atmosphere. In one moment, Huey Lewis was gone. And then back. And better than ever? I mean, he fucking had jet feet. It doesn't get better than that. You know, I saw Huey Lewis many times after that. He'd come on Rock Nights, my famous rock talk radio program, and he wouldn't say a word about that snowy New York night. I'd only know I wasn't making things up when I'd watch him fucking jet foot away from the studios after every single session. Huey, I love you. Hope I didn't step on any jet toes here. Let's get dinner soon.